So Beetlejuice is doing very well in the box office. Unfortunately, this is not a box office centric video. I want to discuss, which I alluded to in my reviews, the scandals and issues behind Beetlejuice. And there are a ton of them. There are so many intriguing, fascinating, and disturbing links to Scientology, Satanism, and other issues. Now, not all of these are bad. I mean, Geena Davis is very publicly a feminist activist, but I think Tim very deliberately said, okay, certain people are not going to come back. This is not the same cast. They are not just repeating the old characters. It's a new story, new plot, new people. I liked it a lot. However, certain places it felt very weird and awkward that even an old character that does not appear as they usually do. So you're like, what is happening here? What happened to all these actors? One of them tragically died, so he could not come back. But again, now with AI and digital effects, they could have brought that character back. So certain question marks. So let's get into it. What are these big scandals? And again, to be clear, Tim is only related to them in a very tangential sense, right? He's not directly linked. There is one major headache. However, that actor is not in the film, but you never know. Maybe he was going to be in the film, but they decided, no, that's not a good idea. So first off, there's no nice way of putting it. One of the actors was caught being a predator. He was soliciting certain images from an underage kid. And as bad and awful as that is, a lot of people have made this weird myths about this actor. Oh, he doesn't work in Hollywood. No, he still worked in Hollywood years after this scandal. In fact, he worked on Deadwood, which I saw on HBO. I don't remember him. Deadwood was a good show, but now I'm going to have a lot of question marks about reviewing the show, but it was an excellent show. I only saw a few episodes, but very good stuff. He's worked on some major projects, but for the most part now, he doesn't do major films or television, presumably to try to make people forget. So if they brought him back, this old scandal would have probably been at the fore, right? It's hard to ignore it. Also, on top of this, there's a kind of racist angle because he wanted this kid to do certain things, right? And take off clothes, whatever. But apparently he was dressed in a Native American outfit. Okay, so yeah, he's a bit of a racist predator too. So yeah, that's very disturbing. And then we have Alec Baldwin and Gina, who were in the first film. I thought they were fantastic. Very fascinating story with the Maitlands, and the Maitlands are just gone. They do address it, I think, in one line of dialogue. It's very quick. So why they're not really the focus of this new story, don't know. Just not going to focus on them anymore. And it is weird because Alec is not guilty, despite what people think. Like, his legal issue is as a producer. People think he was on trial for shooting the gun. No, he's not on trial for shooting the gun. And even that case was dismissed. It wasn't about that. It was about he was a producer. So there were questions of culpability as a producer. But in any case, even if you do think he's innocent of the shooting, there would have been a big controversy, I think, to have him back, good or bad. And Geena Davis has a very weird Scientology connection. She did a show way back when, and one of the major stars on that show was Mimi Rogers. For those not plugged in, Mimi was a very lifelong Scientologist through her father. Apparently, she actually liked Scientology and was into it for a while. She was actually an auditor. She audited some of the stars. And she introduced, yes, Tom Cruise to Scientology. Tom Cruise's first wife was Mimi Rogers. And it's a very strange story, so I will be very brief. But basically, Scientology forced Mimi to divorce Tom Cruise so Tom Cruise could go after Nicole Kidman. Yes, that whole thing, that was set up by Scientology. It's a very disturbing story. It's been verified in various books and articles. So this is not me rumor mongering. This is true. And Mimi did verify certain parts of the story. And so she stayed with the church for a while. She actually left recently. And it's interesting. She doesn't say too many bad things about Scientology itself, but she does not like David Miscavige because apparently Miscavige was orchestrating her divorce. But she got very well paid through the divorce, but it's not clear she wanted to do it. Tom apparently did want to move on. So it's a very ugly situation no matter how you look at it. And then we have Gina, who is a very prominent feminist Me Too activist. And I don't know Tim's exact politics. He seems more liberal, but I don't know if on record he's a feminist. And it's very weird, although Beetlejuice is kind of pro-women, it's getting a lot of flack by Grace Randolph for not being pro-woman enough. So there you go. So I think cumulatively, Burton just did not have a lot of good choices. If he brought back the original cast, all of it, he would have faced a lot of questions and controversies. Again, he's only slightly linked to these people. These are mainly just actors or producers or whoever who worked with him. Like, for instance, Danny Elfman has been a close friend and composer, and he faced a very seemingly iffy sexual harassment suit, but that was settled out of court. Again, is he actually guilty? Don't know. He is back to do the music. So Burton was willing to take on a certain amount of controversy. It wasn't totally controversy free, but again, it is noticeable the story was really altered and twisted. It is a very strange story. I like it, but it does feel very contorted to explain why certain people, they're just gone or they're dead or they ain't coming back. And it's just not well done in the film. It just feels very weird why certain people are so absent and these new people just showed up. It just feels very unnatural. Now, I will be a little harsh towards Burt in terms of one link because it's undeniable. And that's Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has been incredibly linked to some satanic activities through himself and Marilyn Manson. Again, I'm not exaggerating. This is a real thing that they were both linked to this satanic figure, Damien. And Damien was accused of killing children. Now, I think Damien is actually innocent legally. However, Damien is a hardcore pro Satanist, mystic, or wizard, or whatever. He is very into it. He is very much into Aleister Crowley. And Crowley was one of the foundational inspirations for Scientology. So, yeah, it's all these weird links with all these people. And again, him and Johnny go way, way back. I will say there is a big Easter egg. There is an old Burton actor who shows up in Beetlejuice. I don't want to spoil it. I thought it was great. But yeah, he's in there. But again, given who Johnny is, it would have been interesting to have a cameo by him. But again, some of his questionable links have come back to haunt him, and I think that's fine. I do think Johnny was innocent regarding Amber Heard. I think he proved his innocence there. However, he does have some disturbing alliances, and Tim, through their friendship, is linked to those people. But that's probably the worst thing he's done, and you can't deny that him and Johnny go back a long time. So I think Tim was just faced with a big burden and saying, "Well, do you want to bring these people back?" But there will be a lot of question marks. He was like, "No, no, let's just find a way to get around that." So he says it was just a different focus of the story, but I don't believe him. I think Tim is a good guy at the end of the day. However, he was faced with an impossible choice: bring back these people and these controversies. And I think for many people, feminists, Scientologists, Satanists, no thank you. Some people might have been curious and would have upped the box office, but a lot of people I think would have been scared off. So it's a tough decision. I understand what he did it, but I don't believe it's just a story decision. These people just have a lot of baggage attached to them. It is what it is.